have a general idea of how far 100 miles is? You've probably driven that distance on a highway or maybe on some back roads. Have you ever driven 100 miles on rough gravel roads? It can take a bit longer. Or maybe you have walked 100 miles on a mountain trail, or you've gone a great distance where there is no trail. 100 miles in rough country is a long, long way, and so much can be crammed into those miles. Alaska's three largest mountain ranges are the Brooks Range, the Alaskan Range, and the Aleutian Range. Each of those ranges is over 600 miles long. And those aren't the only ranges in Alaska. It depends on how you categorize them, but there's at least 14 major mountain ranges in the state. Alaska has some serious mountains. There are 3,174 named mountain peaks in Alaska, and we know that we have the big one, the tallest mountain in the US. Of the top 20 tallest mountains in the US, 17 of them are right here in Alaska. Alaska has 9 national parks, and there's this one, it's the largest national park in the nation, and it's covered in mountains. It's called the Wrangell St. Elias National Park, and get this, it's over 13 million square miles. That's larger than 9 other states. When it comes to nature, I'm pretty sure that I like it all, but mountains have got to be my favorite. I often look at a mountain and think, how could you not want to go up there? There's just something about the way God made me and the way God made mountains that combined for endless fascination. I experience God in the mountains. Today we're going to hear a spiritual lesson from Pastor Brad Traxler, who also loves the mountains, has had many experiences out there. He's going to share a few words about these great things that we get to experience and the God who made them.
You know, one of the things that I love most about Alaska is the mountains. And in years past, I've climbed many mountains on the Kenai Peninsula. And when you're at the base, you can only see just a little. The mountain doesn't seem nearly as high as it really is. And when you are down in the valley, all you see is the rippling brooks descending into the stream at the foot of the mountain. And as you climb that first rising knoll, the valley lengthens and widens beneath your feet. And as you go higher and higher and you see the country for miles around, it just takes your breath away as you delight in the beauty and the splendor of the widening prospect. And as you climb higher and higher, the scene enlarges until at last you reach the summit. And you look in every direction and you see for miles and miles. And the panorama before you is just breathtaking. You can see the mountain peaks and valleys and the lakes that sparkle in the sunlight. You can see a cabin tucked partially behind a ridge and maybe mountain goats and even a bear. All these blessings from God to delight the sentence. And you say, I couldn't even imagine how much I would be able to see on the mountaintop. And our lives as children of God are not so very different. When we first get that glimpse of Jesus, we see only a little of him. But the higher we climb in our walk with Jesus, the more we discover of his beauty. But who has ever really gained the summit? Who has known all the heights and depths of the love of Jesus that passes understanding and knowledge? You know, when Paul had grown old and he was sitting gray-haired and shivering in a dungeon in Rome, he was able to say with greater emphasis than we can say, I know whom I have believed. For each experience has been like that climbing of a hill. Each trial has been like ascending another summit. And for Paul, his death seemed like gaining the mountaintop where he could see the whole panorama of the faithfulness and the love of Jesus to whom he had committed his life and soul. So I challenge you, get up, dear friend, into a high mountain and see the splendor and the glory of our Redeemer.
Our study guide today takes us to 3 ways that mountains speak of their Creator.